Hey everybody, it's Hella here, excited utterance. Oh guys, look at my little friends. Look at my little bobblehead friend over here. Have you missed him? Have you missed him? He's the original bobblehead guy. Yes, he is. Now, do you remember his name? He would love it if you would remember his name because he sees himself as a bit of a celebrity. Mm-hmm. Who can remember? Who's first? Who's first in chat to remember his actual name? Now you know his little moniker down there, his initials. He goes by EB, but who remembers his whole name, right? Who's first? Come on. I love it that I'm not getting any answers yet. Oh, because this is going to disappoint him. This is going to disappoint him. Hi, hi, Cowpoke. Hey, half Irish. All right, so this dude, I'm not going to tell you. Someone's going to have to tell me the name. Okay, so first, I'm going to tell you a bit about him then. All right, so this dude sees himself as being quite the celebrity and the go-to attorney when it comes to the Alex Murdoch case. So he thinks that he is number one expert PR guy when it comes to anything to do with the Alex Murdoch case. So if anything happens with the Alex Murdoch case, then all of the news outlets, he's number one, right? So Court TV, Law and Crime, Fox, all of the affiliate stations, everything, they all have him down as the guy to call because he put his hand up to be the pro bono attorney to represent the victims of Alex Murdoch's financial crimes. All right. So he's super EB. And so he won himself a lot of fans out there. Lawyers aren't really supposed to have fans, practicing attorneys who don't have, like, I don't know, YouTube channels and things like that, who are they're just practicing attorneys, right? But he won himself a lot of fans for coming to the rescue of the victims of Alex Murdoch, right? Come on, guys. Who can tell me his actual name? He's coping and seething and coping and seething right now because we can't even remember his name. Just DB. This is too funny. All right, so here's the thing, right? I know that there are lawyers out there who have big followings, like they have like big YouTube channels, right? And they have books and things like that. But that's because they create content and they spend a lot of their time doing that. This guy, all he does is hate on Alex Murdoch, right? Well, that's all he did. He started now creating some content. And he used to appear on a podcast called Cup of Justice with some reporters, right? But how he became well known as like a public figure was by jumping onto these cases and representing pro bono because he's such a nice guy, right? These victims of Alex Murdoch. And of course, like there is a payoff to that if you get the settlement or the money out of Alex Murdaugh's estate. So say, for example, you win $5 million from the financial from the civil suit for the financial crime, then there's a percentage of that. So you can say, oh, pro bono, I'm not working, but you can reap a couple of $100,000 for doing that work. So like a no win, no pay situation, right? So he has made money out of that. There are some situations where he's not made money. So, for example, he put his hand up to work pro bono for the mother of Stephen Smith. Now, do you remember Stephen Smith? He is the boy who was found dead on the road in Walterboro. So he was linked to the Murdaugh family. Not even sure if it was a murder, right? But people said it was a murder. It was a suspicious death. He was found dead on the road in the middle of the road, and he was a gay boy, and there were all these rumors floating around for years and years that he was in some sort of homosexual relationship with Buster Murdaugh, and that his death was it was a murder, and it was covered up by the Murdaugh family. And Buster's actually suing. He's suing news outlets for reporting it that way, as he should, because he's been defamed, right? Now, this guy decided to, just after the Alex Murdaugh trial, when Buster his name was being put out there even more so, people will say, "You're next, Buster. What's happened to Stephen Smith?" He decided to represent the mother of Stephen Smith, right? And get justice for Stephen Smith. Now, do you think he would have done that if the Murdaugh name was not attached to it? I think not. Now, I don't believe any money has come out of that in terms of, there's been no suit, right? There's been books and things, but not with his name attached to it. Lots of podcasts. So, come on, guys. What's his name? What's his name? Who is he? I'll tell you. So, his name is Eric Bland. Eric Bland. And he's got a book called Anything But Bland. Yeah. Yeah, his name's Eric Bland. And he sells bobbleheads of himself. It's so bland I've forgotten. Yeah. Right. So basically, anytime that the Murdaugh name comes up in the media, you see his face pop up on screen. Right? Yeah, or Anything But Bland is the stupidest name. Because I like anything but bland in my life. No, it's not Edward. Look at this dude. I mean, really. Right? He's the host of Cup of Justice, Good Skill podcast, and Anything But Bland is out now. He's the founder and partner of Bland Richter, South Carolina. And I've got to show you his website. Creating a legacy of legal excellence. Meet EB. There he is. Notice how he cannot write a biography of himself without including the word Murdaugh. He hates Alex Murdaugh. He hates him so much, but yet he must include the name Murdaugh in everything, because no one would know anything about him whatsoever if it weren't for Murdaugh, right? He never shows up on TV at all unless something's happening with, guess who? Murdaugh, right? Oh, Dali.
Ooh,
Dali.
my.
Your favorite dude. Hang
Who's
on,
that
I need to move you around.
Yeah, you do. Well, look at that handsome man.
Look at him. Look at him. Right? His legal expertise and relentless pursuit of justice have made him a sought-after commentator on networks like Dateline. Oh, Dateline is so well respected. 2020, The Today Show, Good Morning America, Netflix.
Poor guy can't lean like that anymore.
Yeah,
after getting his knee replaced.
Do you think that he would have appeared on any of those if it weren't for Murdoch?
Oh, look at that handsome mug.
All right.
Who wouldn't want that?
Shop now. Oh, we need to watch. Let's look at the Bobbleheads. Hang on. We need to wait. Needs
Gotta
to verify I'm
Cloudflare.
a human.
You don't want to work, got to worry about somebody DDoSing his website. Oh, we can get a limited edition?
We can get a limited edition Bobblehead. I am not giving you my email.
Aw. His lawyer had a moment with Judge Newman. A sexual moment.
Who would want to buy his apparel? Like, I'm not, like, seriously, look. Don't writ for luck.
Wait.
Are you serious? What's this one say?
Rather wear out
than rust out. I'd rather wear out than rust out. What the hell does that mean? Who legitimately would wear this
infant fine jersey bodysuit?
This is a dig at Dick Harpootlian. The world has too many dicks. Need more EBs.
EB.
All right. Okay, so why am I bringing this up now? Because guess what? He's back on tour. Because guess why? Becky Hill just got arraigned, right?
Yay.
And P.S., he used to think Becky Hill was lovely.
Salt to the earth.
Yeah, salt to the earth, right? So that's okay. That's okay because now at least she's a reason for him to get back on TV. At least, he has a reason to start talking again. Not that he hasn't stopped talking. He's kept talking. It's just that no one's been listening, right? Because he now has this thing called the Anything But Blend weekly wrap up.
Ew.
Right, which is no big deal. He does that on his Twitter, which
sounds
is I'm sure is monetized. Yeah, it's kind of bland. Right. So in the last sort of 5 days, finally, he's had some media attention. So let's have a look. Now, P.S. Back when Murdoch was actually a talking point, he used to get a lot of interaction on his Twitter. Note that now he's getting like 6 responses to his messages. Yeah. Oh, look at him. Look at him doing his book signings out there.
Oh.
So this was May 13th before that all happened. And yeah, 24 likes, no responses. And look at the crowd around him.
Oh, it looks like his leg is getting better at least.
Yeah.
Because he had to have surgery.
He did have to have surgery.
You saw that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Poor little fella.
But look at the crowd.
2 whole bottles of water.
2 bottles of water.
Can't quench that thirst fast enough.
He couldn't keep up. Okay. So
I've yet to talk to any Republican or any friend who thinks this is a good idea.
Yeah. So the other day, we already read out his seethy posts, and look, he finally started to get some traction. 264.
Go back. What were they before? 15. Okay.
90 to do with Trump. Okay, that's good. 15, 90, and then this 24 about this
Jesus.
20.
1.8. Aw.
Oh, look, somebody came
He
up.
took
That
a
might
photo
be
with the owners of the bookstore.
owners of the bookstore.
Because that's all who visited him.
4.
Like 300 views.
Anything but bland weekly update. Yeah.
4 likes.
4 likes. I mean, I do better.
Good Lord. I know. I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm doing better at this streaming thing than I realized.
Yeah, right? I mean, I got 8 people in chat right now.
I know.
I mean, and it's a Karen Reed Day.
I know. A big one,
Right.
too.
It was a big one, yeah. Okay, so, guys, let's watch him on. First, he was on Becky Hill, the former Colleton County Clerk of Court, who became a controversial figure in Alex Murdoch's double murder trial, faces a perjury trial. Thank you for Wis10 for having me on.
Wisconsin, maybe?
Is it Wisconsin? Okay, who cares? Here it is.
He
Let's
always
look at
responds
this.
to me and likes my comments.
Yeah.
I like to troll him, low-key.
Alec Murdoch trial more than 2 years ago.
Now, the former Colleton County Clerk of Court who oversaw that double murder trial has been arrested on 4 felony charges, including perjury.
Becky Hill turned herself in after learning about the charges last night. Nick Neville covered that trial and joins us live. What do those warrants say?
They accuse Hill of using her public office for personal gain. There are 2 misconduct in office charges, one saying that she used her position to promote her now unpublished book on the Murdoch trial through social media. The other one accusing her of taking $10,000 in bonuses from child support funds. All this, the state had been looking at for more than a year.
Rebecca Hill charged with perjury, false testimony under oath.
Becky Hill.
I just noticed her lawyer is like really happy. Have you noticed?
He's gonna be the next Eric Bland.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna have my own merch store.
I'm gonna get in a hot tub soon.
Yeah, hot tub. Just hang on.
You got it.
Okay, so her last attorney. He's like, that's gonna be me.
I'll do a hot tub stream in Minnesota.
Yeah, right.
Who oversaw Alec Murdoch's double murder trial behind bars herself, facing 4 felony charges, including perjury. She became well known during the high-profile trial and was even praised by Attorney General Alan Wilson after the verdict for her
crime con.
Hill spoke with our sister station in Greenville about the Murdoch case while promoting her book in 2023.
I was told to just treat this as any other normal trial that we had, and that's what I tried to do.
That's what I do.
Amidst all the cameras that we had in there, it was a lot to deal with. But I think we handled everything pretty good.
Scrutiny soon followed. Murdoch's attorneys accused her of tampering with the jury. And she later testified at Murdoch's retrial hearing in January of last year. The judge believed her interactions with jurors did not lead to the guilty verdict, but added,
"Where's EB?
I find that the clerk of court
Bring on EB.
is not completely credible as a witness."
The perjury charge stems from that.
Oh, look, she's smiling.
Arrest warrants say Hill told the judge that she did not
see
allow
that.
the press to view sealed exhibits. Investigators say evidence shows otherwise. Eric Bland, who has represented several Murdoch trial jurors, says this is a shocking development in a case full of twists and turns.
You start to wonder, did Alex have his due process rights violated?
What?
Oh my God!
Holy bobblehead, Batman.
Congratulations. Well done.
Good job.
Did he just say that? Wait.
He just wants the spotlight again for a second trial.
to wonder, did Alex have his due process rights violated?
Oh my God. Okay, I need to make a mashup.
You need to make that a soundbite.
I need to get everything he's ever said about how Alex is just playing the courts and he's been found guilty by a jury of 12
and Becky's honest.
And Becky's honest and blah, blah, blah. And now this. Oh my God. You backflipping motherfucker. Wow.
Must be the Vicodin he's on.
I don't think so. But certainly he has a better chance with her getting indicted.
Oh, hang on. He said just saying I don't think so.
Motion granted and a new trial given than if she wasn't indicted.
Hill resigned from her post in March of last year. A few months later, the State Ethics Commission accused her of 76 violations, also of using her office for personal gain. Her attorney declined to comment. Nick Neville, WIS, News 10.
Nick, thank
you. Okay. So that's that, right? That's the first one in the tour. I think that's just a little station, right? But the big time ones are coming. The big time ones. And then he goes, you need to read this. This one. Oh, sorry. Share screen.
I am going to appear tomorrow morning on Julie Grant's luxurious opening statement show on Core TV at 8:15 a.m. To talk about Becky Hill's new lingerie. I mean, criminal charges that were brought against her yesterday. She was the former Colleton County Clerk of Court, don't you know, in the Alex Murdaugh double murder trial and convictions. I will discuss the impact of these criminal charges on Alex Murdaugh's attempt to get a new trial. Watch if you can. I need the views. EB.
And notice he's got 28 likes. 4 people have reposted it, and 1 person has responded. Now, I need to put this in context, right? EB used to get like hundreds of responses and hundreds of likes and reposts and stuff. This is like boom.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. His ego just must be dying. But okay, let's see. At least he got on Court TV. So, and Julie Grant, she's far more insufferable than he is.
True.
Now, there's been a lot of talked about whether Alex should have taken the stand. I can assure you, when we considered what factors and what we should and should not do and considered whether he should take the stand, we never considered the likelihood, as reported to us by the jurors, that the clerk of court would go in to the sanctity of the jury room before he testified and tell the jurors, don't be fooled by his testimony, watch out for his body language. And that is what the sworn testimony that we have filed in court today says.
Now for what's trending in true crime. Becky Hill, remember her, the former clerk of court, as part of Alec Murdaugh's 2023 murder trial, is now out on bond this morning after she's been charged with perjury and obstruction of justice. These charges stem from Hill and that January 2024 inquiry when former Chief Justice Jean Toll from the South Carolina Supreme Court made a ruling that a new trial for Murdaugh was not necessary under the circumstances. Murdaugh, of course, convicted of murdering his wife Maggie and his son Paul, and he requested a new trial based on allegations of jury tampering that went to Hill and her conduct dealing with the jury. Well, now authorities say that Hill lied during that hearing with the justice. Here's more on that.
Did you ever allow anyone from the press to view these sealed exhibits?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Did you allow Netflix to ever examine the exhibits for trial?
No,
I don't even know who Netflix is.
So the clerk of court, in her job, involves taking care of the juror.
That jacket is just so bad. Like, has it got little bedazzles on it?
Good Lord.
What is he wearing? My eyes can't even deal with it. So bad.
Maybe it's green and the messing with the green screen. Have to choose a different color for it.
It's so like her face is hideous enough.
Overseeing case exhibits and helping the judge during the trial. So now the big question is, will
Why
what's
does your
going on
nose look like Voldemort's?
the effect on Alec Murdaugh?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Why does she said the big question is, and I said, why does her nose look like Voldemort's?
Okay, I gotta tell you something, right?
Oh yeah,
So
you don't know.
I did. You know how you can make an AI avatar of yourself, right? You can ask Grok or something to make like an AI avatar because everyone's doing it, you know. And I did, and it made me look like fucking her.
Really?
Right? I was just like, "Fuck you, Grok. I'm not asking you anything again."
Because we know he's still trying to get out of prison. He's still trying to get a new trial. We know his attorneys are certainly hoping that this all helps. Let's bring in an attorney very close to this case, represented some of the victims on it, attorney Eric Bland. He's also the co-host of the Cup of Justice podcast now. Eric, good morning. Oh boy, isn't this the $1 million question? And we can't wait to hear your analysis on this. Do you think that this could have any effect truly on Murdaugh's bid for that new trial?
Good morning, Julie. From an optics standpoint, it is not good for the state and certainly benefits Alex Murdaugh. But when you break it down, there's 4 charges against Becky Hill. 3 have nothing to do with what she did during the trial. 1 does, and you just played it regarding evidence that was admitted and sealed, and she purportedly gave it to a third party. But don't forget, when Justice Toll announced her verdict or her ruling where she wouldn't grant a new trial to Alex Murdaugh, she said she found Becky Hill to not be entirely credible and that she wasn't relying on her testimony for her decision. This has always been a legal standard that's going to take place on appeal. She applied the state standard for jury tampering, where you have to show not only the juror interference, but that it had an effect on the jurors. 11 jurors, and I represented 6 of them, said it had 0 effect, whatever she may have done. 1 juror said it did, but Justice Toll did not find her credible. The defense said they should have applied the federal standard, which said all you have to show is juror interference. So on appeal, it's still going to come down to the legal standard. This is noise, and it is powerful that Becky is charged. But Justice Toll clearly said that she didn't find her entirely credible. So you said, well, is Alex going to ever get out of prison if this murder case is reversed? There's a hung jury on a new trial. The answer is no. That's why we worked so hard on the financial crimes. He has 67 years of prison time in state and federal prison. He's 56 years old. So irrespective of what happens to the murder case, he's never getting out of prison.
Eric, awesome analysis, all of it. Thank you.
Let's go and make out.
Let's go bump uglies, Eric.
My God. Just, you know what? He came on this same show and spoke to her and said the same goddamn thing 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Right? He said exactly the same freaking thing. He said about the state and the federal standard. And then he said, you know what? He's 56. And because we work so hard on the financial crimes, he's never getting out of prison. Well, you didn't have to actually, because he sat up there and just admitted to everything.
Yeah.
How hard did you have to actually work, dude? He sat there and said, I did it. And Crichton Waters tried really, really hard to get him to say some stupid line so he could say it at the end of at the
Closing.
closing argument. Did you look in their eyes and lie? Did you lie? Right?
he
He tried
wouldn't
so
even
hard and he
say
wouldn't give it to him. And then it was just a guilty plea. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Murdaugh
A guilty
accepted responsibility.
plea. Yeah, he accepted responsibility. So don't sit there and go, oh, we had to work so hard. It wasn't like he pled not guilty and you had to go through a trial for every single damn one of them. No.
Yeah.
Fucking Judge goddamn Newman sat there and let a bunch of irrelevant testimony come into a murder trial for 3 weeks. And the defendant had no choice but to sit there and go, yeah, I did that. I did that. I did that. I did that. And he did the honorable thing and owned up to it.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, he's never getting out of prison. You're right. But don't try and sit there and make out like you had to work so hard to get that to happen, because he just sat there and took responsibility for those crimes. I'm going to punch him. And now, goddamn 2 years later, you're still trying to be famous out of this. And he's made a lot of money. Like millions.
Yeah.
This dude.
For that, let me go back to one of the things you said, Becky Hill not being entirely credible, the judge making that finding. Thank you for reminding us of that, because it's been a while since we've seen that testimony, and you're right, that was something that the justice noted when she was delivering her findings and in her opinion. So we've got a clip of Becky Hill on the stand. Let's look back at some more of what she told the court at that hearing.
Did your comments, or were your comments in any way phrased in favor of one side or against another side, or were they more of a neutral comment about paying attention?
No, it was not for one side or the other.
During the course of the deliberations, once the jury went back there, did you have any contact with the juries or have any substantive discussion with them?
Not at all.
Okay. Eric, that was just a little clip. As you know, there was so much more that came out of that. And I think a lot of people were perturbed that a clerk of court would insert themselves in this process in such a way so that there was even a question about it. There should never have been a question. In all your years of practice in South Carolina, have you ever seen anything like this where a clerk has behaved in such a way? And now I understand these charges now are all allegations. She's cloaked in the presumption of innocence. But we know that there was a book, and that's kind of what I'm talking about.
She's cloaked in the presumption of innocence. For fuck's sake, you didn't give Alex the presumption of innocence at all, you bitch. Zero presumption of innocence. You know nothing about the presumption of innocence. This is Julie fucking Grant we're talking about here. Right? Everybody gets called guilty by this woman, and she's still talking about presumption of innocence for Becky freaking Hill.
Yeah.
What's she doing talking about presumption of innocence? Why? For Becky Hill. Why? Why? Why is she not angry? Why is she using words like people were perturbed? Why is she not freaking jumping out of the screen talking about how evil and vile Becky Hill is like she does for other defendants? She's a defendant now.
Yeah.
Right? So why is she not talking about Becky Hill just like she does other defendants? Huh? Have you noticed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
She just can't admit it.
She can't put her in to the same category as she does Brian Koberger, as she does Alex Murdaugh, everybody else who sits in the courtroom in that defendant spot. She just immediately marks them as being guilty, and she laughs at any possibility that they could be innocent. She literally just goes into like, oh, so he was looking at the moon and the stars. She does this kind of thing, right? Whereas Becky Hill, people were a bit perturbed, but she's cloaked in the presumption of innocence. What the is with this woman? Why? Why is she being treated with kid gloves? Because the reason is because she is on the inside, right? She is part of the system, and she's being treated as if she is different because she was the one who read out the verdict. She was the clerk of court. Well, we can't treat her like a criminal. She's not a criminal.
Yeah,
we're just going to assume she's not. We'll give her the presumption of it. Yeah, we'll do that, shall we? She's not violent evil.
No. Writing of the book and sort of making herself the center of the attention.
No, I never have, and quite frankly, I don't know anyone that has had that experience. She's an elected official. She's a court officer. She has to be beyond reproach. She clearly took advantage of the moment. She got swept up in it. We all did. I did. But I'm not a court officer. I would have the right to go on TV. But she got caught up in it. She was going to write a book. And I think because she was so involved in every aspect of the trial, from the bailiffs to the jury to being privy to private counsel meetings between the lawyers and the judge, she got the feeling of dominance and importance. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And
we wouldn't want to have the feeling of dominance and importance, would we, Eric Bland?
Swept up in the moment. I'm disgusted by the allegations regarding her. She has to be fully prosecuted. But at the same time, let's not lose focus of what the issue of this appeal is. It really has nothing to do with Becky Hill. It has more to do with the legal standard that Justice Toll applied.
I appreciate you explaining that to us, Erica. Interference and effect on the...
Sorry?
Because of Becky Hill.
Yeah, because of Becky Hill. Don't try and make out that it's not because of Becky Hill. It is because of Becky Hill. This whole thing started because of Becky Hill.
He would have had no chance at a new trial if it was not for Becky Hill.
None. Zero.
And all the BS rulings that Judge Newman made about allowing everything from Murdaugh being a bully when he was in preschool. I exaggerate, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Everything that was so irrelevant, they didn't open the door. Like, he allowed everything in. None of that would have been overruled on appeal because it was just judge's discretion. But because of Becky, now he has if it was anybody else, they'd get a new trial. It's Murdaugh, so it's a little iffy there. But more than likely, he'll get a new trial, and all those rulings will have to be made again by a different judge because Newman's retired. So, I mean, I don't think his first trial was fair, apart from Becky. But thanks to Becky, he now gets a chance at a new trial. I mean, there was nothing else that would have got him a new trial.
Absolutely. What she did was absolutely wrong, and it is to try and make out like she is not the catalyst for his most likely getting a retrial. It's just blatantly, it's gaslighting. He's gaslighting us. And I don't really like that term, but you're trying to redefine the narrative here, Eric Bland, because the court system works, doesn't it? We love the government. Everything's fine.
Yep.
Right? Oh, well, this has happened to her and she did something wrong, but don't look at that. Let's not look at that because that's not really got anything to do with the fact that he might get a retrial. Are you fucking for real?
And
stop it.
Okay, she wasn't trustworthy. Judge Toll, you don't know what she lied about. You can't trust anything she said because she's convicted of or charged with perjury.
Yeah.
So we don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. Quite frankly. You can't answer that. It's going to be impossible to ever find out the realistic answer. No, they're going to have to spend another $1 million doing a new trial, bring out the whole festival, whip out the Taj Mahals again, have another circus come to Walterboro and do this whole fiasco again.
Jury is what she applied, and you said the Murdoch defense team is trying to say that it should have been just interference alone that would have been enough to send things back down for a new trial. So I would imagine they're going to be making some moves, as you know, with some filings, and I'm sure we're going to want to have you back on, Eric, for that.
Sure, we're going to want to have you back on. I'm going to want to have you back on.
Can we go ahead and schedule that? I'm free.
Can we? Yes, please.
Now to anytime, really.
Anytime. Yeah, please. I can't wait. Guess what? He got on Fox.
Oh, goody.
Look at him. Oh, do you want to read this out? Oh, no, sorry. Where is it? Where did he actually write that he's going to be on Fox? There we go.
Murdoch court clerk hit with felony charges. Watch my segment now on Fox News.
10 likes.
Go ahead and like it for him. Go ahead and make it 11.
I don't ever interact with his posts.
I do. It's fun when he forgets to put an EB, and then I accuse him of being an imposter or saying his account was hacked. I did that a couple times, and he responds, "Oh no, I just forgot." Ha.
Now facing multiple felony charges, including obstruction of justice. This is the case that will not quit.
I'm really facetious. I love interacting with him.
Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Can you hear that okay?
Yeah, hi there, Dana. Well, Becky Hill is charged with obstruction of justice and perjury for allegedly showing sealed court documents to a reporter and then lying about it. She also faces 2 counts of misconduct in office for allegedly using her position to take bonuses and promote her book. Hill denied previous allegations that she tried to influence jurors in the 2023 double murder conviction of former attorney Alec Murdaugh, but she resigned her office last year amid multiple ethics complaints. Murdaugh defense lawyer Dick Harpootlian says he believes this latest development will lead to a new murder trial for his client. But remember, Murdaugh is also sentenced to 27 years in state prison, followed by 40 years in federal prison for financial crimes. So at 56 years old, it's a safe bet he will spend the rest of his life behind bars.
I think he really wants to clear his family name for his son.
Look at
Buster,
this.
who just got married, and maybe for his siblings, that he's not a murderer. He's just a thief.
Yeah.
Becky Hill has been released on a personal.
I imagine if he did not kill his wife and son, he would probably want to go ahead.
Yes.
And not have that tarnish his name.
100%. Hang on. Is that all it was?
That she awaits trial. We reached out to her attorney.
Her attorney.
He said they are not commenting at this time. Dana?
Oh, well.
Keep an eye on it. Thank you, Jonathan.
Too bad, so sad. Too bad, so sad. Oh, well. So what else did he have to say? Hang on. Let's go back. So there he is.
I'm not sure. And here's why. When she rendered a decision, former Chief Justice Jean Toll said, "I do not find the testimony of Becky Hill to be entirely credible, and I'm not relying on her testimony in order to make a ruling where I do not agree that Alex Murdaugh is entitled to a new trial." So there's no question that Becky Hill should be prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. And I'll start talking about that in a minute. The issue on appeal for Alex Murdaugh, though, was Justice Toll correct in applying the South Carolina standard on jury
We've had this
tampering?
already.
The South Carolina standard is more restrictive than the federal standard. That's what Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin were arguing for. The South Carolina standard says not only do you have to show jury tampering, but you have to show that the interference affected the jury's verdict. Now, I represented with Ronnie, my partner, 6 of the jurors who were on the case.
That's right.
11 of those jurors, my 6 included, said nothing that Becky Hill did say or did had any effect on my verdict. Our verdict was based on the evidence, the testimony, and the instructions we got from Judge Newman.
Financial crimes.
There was one juror who said that what Becky Hill said did affect her verdict. However, Justice Toll found it not to be credible.
Yeah. And are you also going to go ahead and bring up the fact that the day before, when they brought up what will and will not be included in that main hearing, it was so restrictive. I remember how Murdaugh looked like somebody just pissed in his cornflakes. He looked gut-wrenched when Gene Toll basically made it impossible for him to get any kind of relief at that hearing.
Yeah.
And then that one juror really bailed his ass out by saying that.
Yeah. Yes, there was the one juror Z. Was the one who said very clearly that it did influence her decision. But unfortunately, when it comes down to it, she still rendered a guilty vote. So,
well, yeah. I mean,
but Justice Toll was like, well, I can't say that was enough to warrant a retrial. That's I mean, by the state standard, I suppose. Okay.
Yeah, but that really doesn't help your case if they use the federal standard. So
no, not by the federal standard. So I mean, what Eric Bland continues to say over and over and over again is that the South Carolina Supreme Court can decide whether or not they go by the state or the federal standard. If they don't go by the federal standard, well, I mean, his attorneys can take it to the Supreme Court of the United States, and they are going to go by the federal standard because it's federal.
Yeah.
Done. So, Becky, you've fucked this up.
Yeah.
Like, you've screwed this. There's no question about it. And you can completely cover her for her. You can sweep for her as much as you want, but she's the reason why this is happening. It's that simple. And I mean, that's not even bringing into the question of the egg juror and the fact that she concocted this Facebook post and all that stuff in order to get rid of her so that she wasn't on the jury the day before. Right. And Myra Crosby will testify to that if it comes down to it. Right. So that woman should have been on the jury and she wasn't. So, yeah. It only takes one, Eman. Right. So it should have been a mistrial or it should have been a not guilty. More than likely a mistrial. Because, that person wouldn't have voted guilty. Simple. Right. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of Eric Bland. Just saying. We didn't actually until just now. I had forgotten that he had jumped in to represent 6 of those jurors.
Of course.
Right. Because he cannot help himself. Like, he sees an opportunity to get his face and his name into anything Murdoch related, and he's just like, boom.
Oh, yeah.
Stamp. He cannot help himself. He is just all over it. This is his meal ticket. And like, he is a civil attorney. His real job is working with his partner. What's his name? I can't remember his first name. Richter. Richter's his second name. So Bland Richter is there.
Yeah. He barely remembers his name.
Yeah. So they have a civil practice. And I mean, I hate to call them ambulance chasers, but that's kind of what they are. They put billboards up around their area, and they got in a bit of trouble for that because it's sort of soliciting. It looked like soliciting. They've had some ethical complaints and things. Remember when Bland had that big absolute seize because someone sent in an ethical complaint about him? Remember that?
Yeah.
And to the ethics board. And because he received it, right? And if there was nothing to it, then he would never have received it, because they don't just send it to the lawyer. Like they actually they do some research into it before it gets delivered to him.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
toss most of them in the trash.
Yeah, most of them get tossed in the trash, right? I think it was to do with that billboard, actually. But yeah, that all got taken down.
Yeah.
And they made a public statement about how it was just a change in marketing strategy to take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go back to my old streams and look at that, because we reported on that one. But yeah, I mean, just so much shenanigans, and him being involved with the media company who was very big in reporting on the guilt of Alex Murdoch right through the trial, before the trial, actually long way leading up to the trial, and then post. This company made a lot of money, and him being the main guest on their podcast, and he still got it written all over his website. It's just, obviously he's against Alex Murdoch, but yeah, it's his meal ticket, it's his thing, and then he goes and makes out like he's pro bono. Yeah, technically he's pro bono for some of these clients, but it doesn't mean that
to get it's free advertising, basic or not. It's advertising.
If you go and have a look at his website, and the fact that he's doing these public speaking tours, and he's become this sort of, has this national profile, and there is a lot of money to be made actually in the settlements as well. Everyone deserves to make a living, don't get me wrong, but it's like you represent yourself as being one thing, and then you are actually something else. That's when I have more of a problem. So and when he had a lot of engagement on X, you would see people coming and sticking up for him and being, you are such a selfless person, the way you give of your time, the way you are giving of yourself to help all these people who've been ripped off by the Murdochs. And it was so just incorrect. Yeah. So anyway, I've been following this man for a while, and so it's interesting to see him pop back up the second that something to do with this happens. Of course, just like boom, Eric, boom, Bland pops back up again. It would be so epic if he got a new trial. Right. Oh man, wouldn't it? And I think he's starting to realize it. It's like, are you stupid, Eric? And all the other people around you, because there's like a whole ecosystem of people like him, right? So there's him, and then there's the podcasters and the true crimers, and then there's Mark Tinsley, and like there's a whole lot of them, right? And they have been so against the whole idea of Alex Murdoch getting a new trial for so long, and so all along, them saying this stuff about him, how he couldn't possibly get a new trial, and being so against it. And I've been like, why are you against it? Yeah. You're gonna, like, the content's running out.
Yeah.
So this was me thinking this a year ago. Yeah. And I just couldn't understand why they were so like against it. Yeah. Like, was it a big act that they were against it?
I want a new trial because I know this inside and out. I won't have to do any preparation. We can just start from day one, just covering it.
They're not relevant for anything else.
No.
So, I mean, who listens to Luna Shark for anything else? Yeah. Right? Like, I don't know what they've started covering since. Do they still exist?
I don't even know. It's kind of like Murder Sheets covering something non-Delphi.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's exactly that, right? So, yeah, there are creators like Murder Sheet who exist only around the ecosystem of Murdoch, right? Yeah. And they've just disappeared off the face of the earth in the last year because the Becky Hill thing's dried up and there's just nothing happening. Like we're just waiting to see what's happening with the appeal, right? And like the same thing will happen with the Rick Allen stuff, right? Like things will quieten down. There'll be no more motions. There'll be no more exhibits. There'll be nothing to talk about really. And it'll be sad because, you know, Rick's like stuck in prison, but there's just nothing anyone will be able to do. And so, and it's kind of like what happened with Zach too. Like just no one will have anything to talk about really. And so there's this ecosystem of people who were like guilters, and they were saying all along, like, oh, he couldn't possibly get a new trial. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. And here's little me going, why are you saying that? Like, surely you'd love a new trial. And now here's him, Eric Bland, and I think he's starting to come around. Yeah. Right? Because look at his numbers. Look at the line of no one standing at his book signing. Yeah.
And he'll pretend he's upset and he's outraged and blah blah blah.
But he's actually like, yes. Please let there be a retrial.
I know. It'd be like Mark Jensen getting a new trial for me.
Oh, for you. You'd be like, please, I've got all the dick pics.
Oh, don't act like I'm not refreshing that Wisconsin appeal site right every single day, waiting for that to drop.
Right.
Damn thing got delayed until July.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay, that's enough. I've taken up enough of your Karen Read time, guys. Oh dear. I hear it's been a big day.
It has. It was great.
Yeah. Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
And even for someone who doesn't watch Karen Read.
Correct. I only watched The Cross, but The Cross was amazing.
Was it?
Yeah, it was just watching good Cross. You can appreciate it.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. All right, I'll try and watch it later. I have a kitty cat. I need to shove some medication down his neck and try and also shove some food into him as well. So sorry, Sarah, if it's time. Yeah. Hell, did you see what happened? What's the Red Wedding? What's that?
Game of Thrones reference. The witness he basically lied about his where he went to school and his degrees. And he does not have a bachelor's, but he's been trying for 17 years.
Oh, okay. No, well, I mean, obviously not, because I woke up and I started doing this.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he told me that The Cross was really amazing, and I was like, "You watched it?"
Not even done. Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, and I haven't watched anything else in the trial really.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I love good lawyering too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'll go back and watch that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have some medication for Seraph that apparently is going to make him really hungry, but also a bit loopy. And I said, "Are you sure it's not just pot?" Apparently not, but I need to get it down his throat somehow. He needs to eat, because at the moment I am feeding him by hand, like, yeah. So it's worth it. Hella. Okay, I will.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Much appreciated. Love you all. Time for the song. Time for the song.
Her name was Hella. She was an Aussie. She was a fake lawyer from the future. She got on YouTube and made some live streams. The co-host is Dolly and she dances sometimes. The words are always so loud and because she's an 803. To the attention